You're taking me off stage, or I'll still be on stage?
Welcome, friends. I'm so excited. It is our second episode of our second week. And with me today is Sandra Adeyeye Bello. And I just cannot tell you how much I admire all the stuff that she is doing. And she is here to share her story with us today. Sandra, welcome.
Hi, good to be here, Rita. We have looked forward to this together, and I am super, super excited to be here today. How are
I know.
you?
I am good. The energy you bring in the room, I can't. Like I can't. My smile is way too big. I'm thinking like, open your eyes more, maybe smile a little bit less. Look,
Who
Gail
makes
knows
the
the score. If you are
rules?
catching this live with us, please jump in the comments, say hello. This is for you. We do this for you. So ask your questions, share your insights. It's a brief conversation. We're only going to be together about 30 minutes today, but we love having you here. Hey, Mark, glad to have you with us today. So, Sandra, I'm going to let you introduce yourself to everyone. So, tell everyone about who you are.
Okay, so hello everyone. Good to be here. My name is Sandra Adeyeye Bello, all the way from Nigeria. Yes, I am a content marketing specialist, and I do a lot of creative directing because I founded SAP Studios NG, which is a creative marketing agency here in Nigeria. So we do a lot of script to screen productions for our clients. We take your ideas from concept to creation. That's what I majorly do. I'm also the founder of Global Ship Renewals Pageant, which is a virtual business pageant for women in business. Of course, yeah, you hear a lot of times when you say, hey, she's beautiful. But guess what? I say no, we are more than just beautiful. We are more than just beautiful. Yes, we bring a lot to the table, and I wanted to do something more than just March 8th to celebrate this, and that's why I launched the Global Entrepreneurs Pageant, which is the foundation for celebrating women in business, women with ideas, women who have got no funding. Yes, there's a lot of backstory to this, but I know we're going to jump into the juice in this conversation. So I'll just let Rita have the mic right now while we go through the introductions together.
Thank you, Sandra. So I just popped in Sandra's YouTube channel, and Sandra is an amazing creator. She entertains me constantly. I wish I had that entertainment thing. It's not really my strength. I'm more the educator. That's more the hat I tend to wear. But if I encourage you to go out and subscribe to Sandra's YouTube channel, she is dropping some really great content out there that you are going to want to have, especially if you're like me, if you're a solopreneur, if you own your own business and you don't have a marketing firm representing you. Sandra's giving little tips that are going to help you, that you're going to really find valuable about how to do your content creation to get some real impact. So check her out over on her YouTube channel. So Sandra, um,
Yes.
we both women in business who've decided to go out on our own to break sever with working for somebody else, and you're here to share your internal narrator story about one of the biggest hurdles everyone who owns a business faces, but many of us face it with more challenges than others. And I think women are among those. Women and people of color challenge about how you claim your value in that space. So I'm going to hand the microphone to you. Start to share with everyone, what was the story you were telling yourself about how you could position your value in the marketplace?
Okay, so this, what would I be if I tell you I'm a storyteller without telling you a story? So I have three stories I'm going to share so everyone can relate to why this was a thing for me and why it was important that this particular episode um, was centered around this. Uh, Before I jump right into it, I lost a lot from this story. And I don't know if any of the people involved will be watching. I won't be using real names, but these are real incidents that happened to me. right? So the first story goes, one time I a particular friend, I would call the person friend. I never really met the person, or let's just call the person, like a friend, basically someone you meet off LinkedIn and you just have this spark and you were doing real amazing things together. We had lots of coffee chats and he gravitated towards, introducing me to circles of, amazing people. And guess what? I was in this circle and I didn't know what I was offering. I started to do a lot of freebies, which is
Mm.
something that, you know, um, as a new entrepreneur, you really want to just show yourself and say, hey, I can do this for you. Now, let me explain this particular circle I'm talking about. This circle is about people, international people. Right. And of course, I know the narrative of being one, a Nigerian, two, being a woman, and three, being a black woman. Now, this is not to indict anyone. This is not to, I'm not trying to raise any fireflies or anything right now, but I'm just trying to explain the scenario of what this particular story really means, to me. So I'm in this circle of different people from different locales. So it was something like, hey, I'm trying to win people's trust. Now, as a business person, we know the KLT factor, right? Everyone already has their narratives about you, and you step into this room, you're the new kid on the block. So what I wanted to do first was to win their love. But guess what I started doing was I started to offer free work. Now there's a difference between freemium and offering free work. I'm going to go into that later, but I'm telling a story right now. Okay, so in this state, that particular friend of mine who introduced me to this community, rallied people and said, hey, Sandra does this amazing thing and we all want to do this, right? We want to, set up our social media. We want to, win clients over from online and so on. Can we put money together for Sandra to do this? That was my friend talking, and I was like, yay, they're gonna do something for me. Well, guess what? This friend comes behind and asks me, so how much will you charge? Or how much do you usually charge? So if you're doing it for this community, probably you can give us a discount. And guess what I said? I went, so if you guys can just buy me airtime, I'm glad to teach you for free. And this is some years back. So don't judge me.
I'm not judging you. Look, Sandra, look, hop in the comments. If you have ever offered something of value that
Mm-hmm.
you bring to the
Mm-hmm.
world for free,
Yeah.
because the story you were telling yourself is, I don't have the
Mm-hmm.
receipts yet. I don't have the receipts. I haven't proved myself. So I've got to build my receipts. And because I'm building my receipts, I don't have permission to ask
Mm-hmm.
yet. If you've ever been caught in this story, come on, don't leave Sandra and I hanging, because we have both been there, haven't we? Haven't we? Ma, I'm
Yes,
telling
yes,
you,
yes,
right? Did I get
yes.
that African thing right? Ma, we have done this to ourselves, right? But
And
that
the
is the
funny thing,
story, right?
Gil,
The story is, I
you
need
know
the
the thing
receipt.
about this. You know the thing about this, Gil. Sorry, I'm calling you Gil. Rita, I'm sorry. I know Gil is in the comment section. Hey,
Yes.
Gil. Shout out to Gil. But Rita, sorry. My
It's
apologies.
okay.
So,
It's okay.
yes. So, the funny thing about this story, it wasn't really about my receipt. It was about feeling out of place. I call this imposter syndrome. I had done a lot. I started to
Mm.
relearn, unlearn a lot of things. Now, prior to this experience, guess what? I had hosted African Women International Film Festival. I co-founded that festival for women's stories to be told globally. This was hosted 2 years before even this particular incident. right? This particular incident, I had already done a lot of workshops training women, doing smartphone videography, smartphone photography, and I'd already done a lot of these workshops. But guess what? Because this was an international setting, this was different from my usual, out of your comfort for the first time, and the world is asking you, are you ready? I wasn't ready.
Mm.
Now, that's my first story. The second story, what actually when I started to pick up, when I started to take a lot of online classes about pricing, because I knew that that was a thing. Now, guess what? The thing I didn't mention about the first story is I lost that friend, the friend who introduced me to that circle, because I couldn't put a price on it. And this friend did not know how to help me. I don't know how we fell apart. I don't know if she's watching, but hey, I just was not in that space at the time. Okay. So
Well, can we just pause
now,
there for a second? Because I have seen this
yes.
from
Mm-hmm,
people who've achieved a lot of success, and they will give this
mm-hmm,
advice, which I didn't have and you didn't have, obviously. But you know what?
mm-hmm,
And of course, this is coming from a male perspective, where I've seen this advice given, but there's still some
mm-hmm,
truth to it, and it's what you're talking about right here, which is when you don't have the confidence to ask for the real price, the
mm-hmm.
real money, when you are making yourself Filene's basement, when you are at the discount, you're at the five, when you've put yourself at the $5 rack at the Target, people who are not looking to buy from the $5 rack are going to walk on by.
Mm.
And
I
that is
actually put
exactly what
that down
happened.
here in my notes. Oh my God, you took that right out. I'm telling three stories here. There is a turning point to this story, but I'm just trying to go, take you through my memory lane. And when you asked me what I wanted this episode to be about, I was really in there thinking, what's that huddle right now? But I think this is something that a lot of women can still relate to, because we still have the same thing going on today. I still have women asking me these questions. Global Ship Renewals Pageant is around the corner, and I know this question will still come up. Okay, so that's why I thought these
Yes.
scenarios, I'm not just when I have these workshops, I'm not just talking from the gibberish of motivational speakers or whatever. Apologies to anybody who feels like this hits their they hits their spine, but I'm saying I have walked the talk. I have been there, right? So when I talk, I'm talking from my own experience, and I can tell you, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling down at that point right now, where you don't know what your pricing should be, or when you're confused about where you are at right now, am I in for this, am I worth this, just like the topic for today. um this is someone who has lived that truth, and I'm telling you my story, right? So the second story was when I started to feel like, oh, this pricing thing is a big deal, and I know the value that I bring, but hey, how do I put a price on it, right? Guess what? I launched the campaign. I think this was 2 years back, when I said I wanted to do video editing for $30. I don't know if you saw that post, but I was at a point in my life. I'm actually, I want the stories to run through. I'm going to run through them quickly because I know time is of essence. So I did a campaign when I said I wanted to do $30 per video editing for my LinkedIn community. And guess what? I had a couple of people reach out, but guess what? I know that this particular offer was beyond that, you know. Asking for $30 per video, I know what it takes to do a video, right? So, but I just felt like, yeah, I just need to start somewhere and put a price on it, which is something that I advise today. And I'm coming to that when I talked about the difference between free work and freemium, right? And then the last part of this story, the third story I want to talk about, is one time when I was super, 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 super broke. This is me who has started now to earn $30 per video, editing for my work. And then I was so broke, and I had to go to the market to sell a prized possession of mine. This was a wedding gift that I had not opened, I had not used. It was really, I was just cash strapped. I know someone might have felt like that sometime. But guess what? That particular incident taught me a lesson. And that's the lesson I want to bring back into this particular conversation. That was the eye opener for me. Now, every stall that I entered, they did not know the value of what I was holding. And I did not look like someone who could possess such a thing. And so when I walked in, they instantly judged the offer. They instantly judged whatever I had to say. Without me even, without even hearing me, without even seeing the value, the bag looks raggedy, the person bringing it in looks raggedy, and you're thinking, oh, who's she? Why would I want to buy something from her? That was the lesson I needed to learn. That was the day I said, no more to poverty, no more to underpricing myself, undervaluing myself. And I sat back. I stood at the gate of that market that day and I looked up to the heavens and I said, this is the end of this. See, enough of the saving. I was a business owner for more than how long, but my business was not yielding. I was doing more work. I had a lot of people that needed saving because, I wanted to save. Women were coming to me. I was working on their social medias. I was doing a lot of videos. I was helping doing a lot of campaigns, giving out freemium, free work from my head. I was, I would build your strategy. I would walk you through why this is not working. Change your post, write it like this. I was doing all of that. But you would go out there once your post starts growing, once your social media starts growing. No, they don't feel like I want or deserved to be paid my what. They wanted to go out and pay someone else, once they started getting their traction, once they started getting their results. That made me sit back with myself and think, just like that day when I walked into those stores, what was the problem? I did not look like who had value to offer. Now, think about it in your business. Think about where you are right now. Why are people not feeling like you deserve to be paid? Do you look like it? Secondly, I did not look like my packaging. Right? I was carrying something valuable, but it was wrapped up. How was it wrapped up? That is the other thing. Do you look like it? Does the package look like it? So that's where my third story leads me to. Yes. And then I had to analyze my feelings. I'm sorry, I don't know if you want to jump in right here. I was trying to conclude my story and how I felt.
No,
and the turning point for
conclude.
me.
Go. Yes.
Okay, so that was the turning point for me. That was where I decided to analyze a lot of things, which I now use in my workshops and my one-on-one coaching with a lot of women that come across me right now. How do you feel? Now, for me, I would, talk about 3 ways I felt. Number 1, dissatisfaction. I was dissatisfied with everything around me. Why is it not working? I know I'm doing so much and the people I'm even coaching are getting more gigs that I'm getting and so on. Dissatisfaction was 1. Number 2, lack. Yes, I was always cash strapped, like I needed money every single time. There was just a need. There was just a need that was not satisfied, And then number 3, I felt underappreciated because, like I said before, once I fixed the challenge for this person and they felt like, hey, they were beginning to get the kind of result they wanted, they now felt like it was time to upgrade. But upgrading did not mean upgrading to paying me. It meant upgrading to who looked like, where they wanted to be. And that was where I decided that was the turning point for me. Okay, so
Now,
these 3 feelings.
can I pause your
Yes.
story there? Because you just dropped
Yes,
like a
please.
huge tip. And I put it on the screen here. And I want to make sure that we are calling this out because this is so valuable. If you're not sure about whether or not, because maybe you look nothing, your situation you feel doesn't look like Sandra and what she's describing. Here's another entry point. Are you having these feelings about yourself and your business, if you're feeling dissatisfied, if you're feeling that you're always sitting in lack, if you are feeling underappreciated by the marketplace around you, underappreciated by colleagues around you, underappreciated by potential customers around you, this is the warning signs. These are the bells should be ringing in your ears. What Sandra is talking about and where she's going to take us in the pivot is really valuable and important to you. If any or all of those three things ring true. And Sandra, I can say, I have had these moments in my business. I think all of us, we look outside of ourselves. We see, especially those of us
Mm-hmm.
that are really active on a platform like LinkedIn, full of business people, and you see their wins and the things that they're posting, they're coming into your feed, and you're thinking, why them, not me? How did they get
Yes.
that opportunity? Why can't I? Right? These are symptoms of lack. This is what you're talking about, of lack. I would love
Yes.
to do that, but how could I? Where could I get the money? How could I find the money to do that? And it does create this framework in our minds, right? It
Mm-hmm.
becomes a way
Yes.
of seeing the world. And so I would love for you to frame a little bit of that for people of um, what were the questions, what was that narrative going on in your head, and how and why did you recognize that you wanted to challenge it? You told the story about you're in the stall and you sort of made those
Mm-hmm.
connections a little bit, but I mean, what really allowed you to do that?
Well, let's talk about self-awareness for a bit. And this is coming from a background of someone who, um, I would say, I didn't name it. Sometimes I think there is a power to naming things, right? There is a power to naming things, and most times we ignore it. So a lot of times, like when I started my business, it felt like, oh, I just want to help. So when you ask me, why are you in business? I would just be like, oh, I just want to help. Oh, I just want to help. I want to help a lot of women, do this, 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 this. I used to feel shy when it comes to money, that talking about my money felt like there was this guilty trap around it. Like, oh, she's being too forward. Oh, um, she's talking about money. Oh, that's cringe. I know they would say cringe today on social media, you know? Yeah, that was a thing. I don't know why we had that shame thingy around money. And it was the realization around it. I started to call it its name. But over time, guess what? The reason this story was imbibed in me was because, well, my generation, the generation before me, and so on, we didn't have women who were money conscious. Now, when you say money conscious today, I think we are beginning to understand that being money conscious is not a bad thing. But then, when you use the word money conscious, people already tag you as someone who is, bad, sort of in quote, right? So there was this shame around it. There was this ostracizing when it comes to she's a woman and she wants money. She's a woman and she talks about money. There is just that. Hey, hope my facial expressions are not getting you off. Stay on the topic. Stay on the topic. Okay,
No,
so
I am all for this facial expressions. And what I would add from a
yeah.
U.S. point of view, as a woman operating in the U.S., my situation when I
Mhm.
started my business is I made the ask for what I felt was sort of what the marketplace was paying. And I had men pushing back to me saying, "Oh, that's a lot of money right there. Like that's what I pay my lawyer. Why would I pay you that much money?" Right. And
Mhm.
um and so I mean, very directly was getting feedback about pricing that really created a roadblock for me for a really long time about money. But
Yeah.
I think there is a truth in um, this idea of um, of where I can get good services at a discount is often applied to women and people of color. So when people are coming into the marketplace and they're talking with you, their expectation often is I can get less if I go with this person because they're not going to
Mm-hmm.
command as much as the traditional white male business person in this space. So you've got two things going
Mm-hmm.
on, right? You've got the perspective of the buyer, and then you've got your own internal criticism thing. And yeah, like in my family,
Struggles.
we didn't talk about
Yes.
money. You don't talk about money. Money is a bad thing to talk about.
Mm-mm.
So many of us have
Yes.
these things that we have to overcome, and don't leave us hanging.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please, like help give Sandra and I some love. Let us know if we're not alone in
Yes,
these
please.
the struggle with the money talk.
Exactly. So that money talk, it was really a thing for quite a while. And then it was just a while. And if you notice recently I launched a club just for that. That was why I started the Money Woman Club. I put it out there. I had to name it. You know, when you're trying to overcome things, when you're trying to get through stuff, it is good to call it by its name. I understood that, hey, Sandra, this is a battle you are facing. And calling it by its name made me understand that, hey, not everyone will like you, and you have to be okay with that. Not everyone can pay you, and you have to be okay with that. You are serving a particular people. You are called for this. Yes, your mission is to help, but you have also got bills to pay. So I had to find the balance between, you know, running out of business and being forgotten after I do all the help, you know, or adding value and getting paid for the value that I bring. I chose the latter. Yeah, I chose the latter. And
Yes.
it's not been an easy
Look, and
walk.
I work with a
Mm-hmm.
lot. I work with a lot of small businesses, and this is
Mm-hmm.
common, and I had this in my own. You start from a place. Many people um, open a business simply because they have expertise that and they have a profession that they love and they want to serve, right? But many of us
Mm-hmm.
don't know the first thing about how to run a business. We
A
come from
business.
our heart and
Mm-hmm.
our expertise, and
Yes.
so because of that, we it takes a while to figure things out. And often what I'm talking with
Mm-hmm.
businesses about that I'm working with that are in that startup place is leveling up. How do you level
Mm-hmm.
up to the next client? Because
Yes.
um, you if you can find somebody that is making a bigger investment, has more dollars to spend, that is bringing you bigger
Mm-hmm.
income, you can get yourself off the crazy train. Because when you're starting out and
Yes.
you're helping all those people, you are putting a lot more work into what it takes to get those dollars, and you want to get to a more efficient way to
Mm-hmm.
get to those dollars.
Yes.
We're
Oh, I see
reading
a comment
Gail's
from
comment
Gail.
here.
Mm-hmm.
um
Yes. And I really wanted to say this. I need to drop this now before I forget. So when I was talking about free work and freemium, I just saw Gail talk about it in her comment, and that's why I want to talk about this. You talked about doing it for a fraction. Yes, please. There are times, just like the post I tagged you to, Rita, earlier, there are
mhm.
times when you might charge a discount for what you actually would charge. I'm not saying that today I'm getting paid as much as I really want to get paid, right? But there are times that you have to, it's like a foot in the door, right? For you, stepping through. So that's what I got to learn now. I had to come to the decision, make a decision that, hey, I am not working for free anymore. And I want you to put a price on it. I want you to pay for it just so you know that you paid for this, because people don't value what they don't pay for. Honestly, people do not value what they don't pay for. So no matter how little you can pay in cash or kind, for one, how I started my own journey, for someone who might be watching right now and thinking, well, probably it's easy for you. You've been there for quite a while and now you understand. Well, how I started, I would ask you, when I started, I was doing free, and I did not know that one, you can give me recommendations to my next client. Two, I did not know that you can leave me a recommendation on LinkedIn. Three, I did not know that you can write me a post and tag me because you have a connection that can, benefit me. I didn't know these things, but today we have these you know, at our fingertips. So yes, sometimes we might have to do some things at a fraction of the price, but it doesn't undervalue us. It doesn't undervalue or take away from who we are. But the most important thing here is to understand that the feelings that I mentioned earlier is you having to, marry them again in this phase where you are. Check yourself again. I do this momentarily. Whenever I feel like there is some form of dissatisfaction creeping up again, I ask myself why. Right? So check yourself. If you did a job or you're about to venture into something new and the terms are not properly meeting your expectations, what can match that expectation to you? What are some of the other benefits? One, will you get the exposure to the right audience, the people that might need your services later on? For example, if you were calling me to come and speak to a group of medical practitioners now, I might consider it depending on certain things, right? For example, let me just give you some reasons why I might consider it. And then I would give you reasons why I might throw that in the trash altogether. Now, one, I might consider this because there might be some medical practitioners out there who want to start to do their own thing, right? They might want someone who can run their businesses. And I know that they are busy 9 to 5 and they don't even know the jack of, setting up their cameras or editing a video or whatever. I might consider it. The second reason why I might throw it in the trash is the fact that these are not completely my audience. I am not talking to these people. My audience are one, women in business, two, creators who want to learn how to upscale and use the resources that they have to get what they want. I am very focused. I am laser focused on that. So if you come to me with probably a collaboration and tell me, we don't have some money now, but these are our target audience, if they align with me, good and fine, then we can talk and I would give you some time and then we find a way to balance things up and I see how it benefits me to the point where I am one, satisfied, two, I do not lack. I might not have the money, but I do not lack in form of the exposure or some other benefits that we will come to a compromise on. And three, that I do not feel underappreciated. The audience will appreciate what I am giving to them because it is of value to them. I know what I'm bringing to them. So I always equate whatever I am having a conversation about with these three feelings. Do I, one, feel satisfied? Do I, two, feel like I am lacking in certain ways? Or three, do I feel appreciated? If I say no to either of these, I throw it in the trash. Now, does this reduce the amount of people I serve? Yes, it does. Does this mean that I don't take as many jobs as I used to? Yes, it means that. And does this mean that I am happy? Yes, 100% I am happy. And I am doing my work to the fullest because I love what I do. I know the value I bring and I will not compromise on this again. Now, these are some of the compromises we had made when it comes to pricing and so on. I am not saying, hey, you're just starting off and you might not do anything for free. No, but you should understand what it means by free work and freemium. So when you are doing freemium, it means that it might not come in financial, rewards, but there are other ways you should be able to calculate your reward, right? When you are giving the person, when you are accepting a deal or a contract or a collaboration, send them a receipt to tell them this is how much I'm giving you. So even if they're not paying you in cash, they should know the worth of what you are offering. But that I did not do when I started. Now, this is something I've learned, and this is something I am ensuring that I continually do today. And yes, I have more time to myself because I'm not overworked as I used to. I did a lot of free work that got me burnt out, unhappy, and dissatisfied, and all of those negative feelings. Now I check them. Okay, so
Well, and
that's
so what
where
you're
I wanted
saying
to put
yes
a price on
to,
them.
what you're saying yes to, Sandra, is you're saying yes to satisfaction. You're saying yes to worth. You're
More.
saying yes to appreciation. And so,
Yes.
it's this question that we're coming to in today's episode of, am I worth that? Am I worth giving all of that away? You're saying no to that. I am not worth giving all of those, because that is me. That is my soul. It's not even just my intellectual capital. It is not even just my
Mm-hmm.
labor. I am giving away pieces of myself when I
Yes.
overgive. Every
Yes.
yes is also a no. And every no is
Yes.
also a yes.
Also a
And when we
yes.
understand this, then we can put ourselves in this place, which you're talking about, which is the key to all of this, is finding your boundaries of worth that you want to
Mm-hmm.
create for your business and giving yourself permission to live and operate within those boundaries, trusting that even though this shiny thing over here looks lucrative, that if you are giving
Yes.
up some of your peace of mind, you're giving up some of your alignment, you're giving up the potential to say yes to something else because you're confusing your audience now and they don't really know all of these things,
Mm-hmm.
right? These are small, these are the little paper cut sacrifices that you get to say, I am worth being able to take a pass on those things and believe that I can take that energy instead of doing that, take that energy to elevate, to level up where I am in my zone of genius that I want to be playing in. And I think that is the most beautiful thing about your story, Sandra, is that and
Thank you.
it's a process, it's a journey. So
Yes, it is.
don't let your judge. My judge is Miranda. She drops those glasses down, from the Devil Wears Prada, and just looks me up and down, because it's like, girl, but don't let
Mm-hmm.
your Miranda beat you up because you're still in this journey. Look, we are all finding our way in this journey. Some people are further down the
Yes.
path than you, and that you can look to them for inspiration, but don't let your Miranda
True.
beat you up because you're not right up there beside them yet. I think we're coming to
Yes.
the end of our time together, which is so sad, but this is such a valuable lesson of life. Thank you for choosing to be
Yes.
so vulnerable and share your stories, Sandra, with everyone. And
Thank you.
this is amazing. And I want them to know how to connect with you. So tell them the best ways to connect and continue to be inspired by you.
Okay, so quickly, catch me on our YouTube channel on YouTube, of course, SAP Studios NG on YouTube, SAP Studios NG on YouTube. My name is Sandra Adeyeye Bello. I am on LinkedIn as Sandra Adeyeye Bello and also across all social media. I'm usually active mostly on Instagram and on LinkedIn, right? Those are the two platforms you'll catch me, but I'm on every other social media. But of course, I'm a content marketing specialist, and I don't need to tell you that I need to focus, on the two major for me. So Instagram and LinkedIn, Sandra Adeyeye Bello. But if you want to see other creations that we have, follow me on YouTube, SAP Studios NG on YouTube. We also have a fashion channel for those who need fashion inspiration across African fashion. So you can see us on African Style Inspo, African Style Inspo on YouTube as well. SAP Studios NG or African Style Inspo. These are the ways to see other creations of ours, apart from the ones we do for our clients. Of course, you can work with me. You can see my portfolio on my LinkedIn channel, on my LinkedIn profile. You can also work with me directly. I'm a content marketing specialist and I'm open to taking your concept, your idea from concept to creation. Just chat me up and let's get to work. Thank you,
I
Rita.
love
Thanks for this
it. I love it. I
opportunity.
just learned something new about your fashion channel. I have not found that, but I am going to have to check that out because Nigerian women, man, it is a whole nother level. It is a whole nother level. So,
I hope you
yeah,
love
I'm
it.
going I'm going to have to see about that. All right. So this closes out our week for this week. Up next week on Tuesday at 12:30, I is our next episode, and that is on busyness, being Addicted to Busyness. So Tuesday, 12:30 Eastern time. On Thursday at 2, Sri is with me from Outrageously Me, and we're going to talk about his root story, how these core messages we receive in the young stages of our life impact how we show up and how we can take those on. And then on Saturday, it'll be our first weekend episode at 11 a.m. A good friend of mine, Vivian, is coming to talk about her story of when she had to go home and say, I don't have a job anymore. So many people are facing layoffs and challenging times in their professional lives, and we're going to get into that. So all of those opportunities, come join us next week. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of our friends who showed up in the comments. Love having you with us and appreciate you engaging with us. Sandra, I just can't thank you enough. You're amazing. I hope you have a spectacular day, and here comes the outro.